Here's a great picture of my dad playing drums back in the 40s with Ken Janney's orchestra. This is pretty hot. Looked like a pretty excitable boy back then. My dad was a really good jazz drummer. He was a good drummer, period, but his forte was bebop and also big band. Sumter and I grew up listening to everything that he brought home to play. He also came out of the big band era, so we heard all that stuff. And that makes an imprint on you when you're a kid. And then about the time that 6th grade or something like that, or 5th grade, when we started this record store, you started selling records and you were listening to everything all the time. And that was everything from boogie woogie music to Spike Jones for us, great bop trios and modern jazz quartet. I had a little bluegrass band, and Jenkins Garrett and Cinco Phillips and David Ferguson. We were playing the early morning farm to market TV show at KTVT. And Delbert had a band called the Ronadales. It was him and Ronnie Kelly, and they had a song out called If You Really Want Me To, I'll Go. So they played their song, and then we played our song, and we all met. And so what happens is Delbert wound up just kind of becoming his own style. I mean, you listen to those, like the Delbert and Glenn recordings, and that first album, sorry man, that's one of the great albums. I mean, that thing's like a freight train, but the songs are cool, the grooves are low down, and at the same time there's so much musicianship going on. It's everything that I like about coming from Texas, or especially coming from Fort Worth.
Ain't no difference in each other. One light shines on every color. We're just flesh and blood, living in spirit world.
That was kind of cool about this. Looking back on it, was the fact that you weren't trying to be in a scene. You were really playing because you wanted to play music. Everybody comes from a town or a certain area where certain things happen. This is what happened down here, and I'm really proud of it. I was playing at the New Bluebird Lounge, and I had fallen into a sudden and deep sleep on the hood of my '60 Cadillac convertible when a car pulled up in the parking lot, and it was Glenn Clark, and he goes, "I'm glad I found you. Me and Delbert want you to join the band." I took the job because I really wanted to go in that direction. So I left Chris and went with Delbert and Glenn, and we did their second album. And Delbert called me and said, "Man, I really appreciate, leaving Christopher's." I mean, I left Chris, and the next week he was on the cover of Look magazine. With Chris, it was about everybody in the band and Chris. It was a religious experience. It was like a family. We all watched each other grow up and grow old and go through triumphs and tragedies. And there's nothing I wouldn't do for that guy. Nothing.
Yeah, my soul starts rocking, soul starts rocking, my heart starts beating right on time.
When I went on the road with Bonnie, it was great. And when I quit the road with Bonnie, it was because I went out at the top of the heap with the biggest album and the greatest person to work with, and her star was at its zenith, and I just said, you know what? I think it's time to, this is where I'll make my move.
I think I'll make a resolution that I'll never make another one. Just enjoy my ride on this trip around the sun. Just enjoy my ride on this trip around the sun.
I mean, Al Anderson and I write songs in between laughs. It's hilarious. I mean, that's what we do. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. And Gary Nicholson is another great songwriter. I haven't written a song with Jeffrey Steele. I'd love to. For me, it's a lot of it's experiential, and I got to wait to go through some stuff, or just have a vantage point on what's gone on before. I mean, the worst fear is to have written the same song 5 times. The last album I produced was nominated for a Grammy. It won 4 WC Handies, and my phone hasn't rung since then. So, you never know. It's just, I enjoy producing. I I don't like being stuck in the studio, and I don't like being stuck on the road. So if I'm able to temper one with the other, I think that's a good trade-off. I don't know, I try to look at a bigger picture, and I always seem to refer to it in my lyrics. I try to keep it on an experiential level. But I think there's, like the song says, there's a bigger wheel.
I ain't no good at this, I'm tired of being